Karoline Leavitt sat at a cafe in the shopping center, enjoying a quiet moment when suddenly, a woman stormed toward her with pure rage in her eyes. Without hesitation, the woman slammed her hands on the table, making Karoline's drink shake. "You! I know exactly who you are," the woman snarled. Karoline looked up, calm but alert. Who was this? What did she want? The woman's face twisted with fury. "You people ruin everything, and you just sit here acting like you belong." Shoppers nearby stopped in their tracks. Phones started coming out. People whispered. Karoline leaned back slightly, keeping her composure. She had faced criticism before, but this was different. The woman jabbed a finger in Karoline's face. "I should do something right now," she seethed. Karoline didn't flinch. Her eyes locked onto the woman's, unshaken by the hostility, but inside she knew this situation could spiral out of control fast. The woman's face was red with fury. She wasn't just angry, she was fuming, shaking, unable to contain herself. "You conservatives think you can just walk around like you own the place. You and your lies, spreading hate, pretending to be the good guys. You make me sick." Her voice cut through the shopping center. More people gathered, some recording, others just staring. But Karoline stayed calm. She took a slow sip of her drink before setting it down with a quiet clink. "Ma'am," she said, her voice steady, "I don't know who you are, but you're making a scene. I'd appreciate it if you'd step back." The woman's fist clenched. She leaned in closer, her breath ragged with rage. "A scene? Oh, honey, this isn't a scene. This is the truth. And people like you don't deserve a platform. You don't deserve a voice." A murmur spread through the crowd. Some nodded in agreement, others shifted uncomfortably. Karoline studied the woman. This wasn't just some random outburst. There was something deeper here. And then, before anyone could react, the woman reached out and grabbed Karoline's wrist. A collective gasp swept through the crowd. Karoline knew this was about to take a turn no one expected. For a split second, time seemed to freeze. The woman's grip on Karoline's wrist was tight, unrelenting, her knuckles white with rage. The tension in the air was suffocating. Then Karoline moved with the calm precision of someone who had been in the public eye long enough to know exactly how to handle chaos. She gently but firmly pulled her hand away. "You need to let go," she said, her voice cool, controlled, but with an unmistakable steel underneath. The woman's face twisted. She wasn't expecting that. She wanted a reaction. She wanted Karoline to snap, to lash out, to say something she could twist. But Karoline wasn't going to give her that. Instead, she stood up, slowly, deliberately. And that's when everyone noticed something. Karoline wasn't alone. A few tables away, two men in suits had already started moving. Security, staff, no one knew for sure, but they were watching closely. The woman hesitated. She could feel the attention shifting. She was losing control of the moment. Then something unexpected happened. A voice from the crowd spoke up. Let her speak. It wasn't aggressive. It wasn't confrontational. Just firm. People turned to see who had said it. It was a young man, late 20s maybe, holding a phone, recording. His expression wasn't angry, not hostile, just disappointed. Then another voice. Yeah, what's the point of attacking her? Talk it out. A murmur ran through the crowd. A shift. This wasn't the reaction the woman had expected. She wanted blind outrage, a scene, a moment of destruction. But instead, people were turning on her. Karoline saw it, and she did something that made everyone stop. She reached out and offered the woman a seat, a single chair across from her. If you have something to say, Karoline said, say it. But let's do it right. And in that moment, everything changed. For a moment, the woman just stood there, her breathing heavy, her eyes darting around as if searching for a way to regain control. She had expected confrontation. She had expected Karoline to lash out, to crumble under pressure. But this was something she wasn't prepared for. The entire cafe was watching now. The cameras were rolling. The once scattered murmurs had turned into focused attention. And that's when it hit her. She was no longer the one in control of the moment. Karoline's offer wasn't just a seat. It was a challenge. Would the woman sit down and have a real conversation? Or would she walk away, proving to everyone that her outrage had no real foundation? For a few agonizing seconds, the tension thickened. Then, slowly, hesitantly, the woman pulled out the chair and sat down. Karoline leaned forward slightly, her expression unreadable. "Okay," she said, her voice steady. "I'm listening." The woman hesitated. Her anger hadn't disappeared, but now there was something else, uncertainty. You spread lies," she finally said, though her voice lacked the fire it had moments ago. "You support things that hurt people." Karoline didn't flinch. Instead, she tilted her head slightly, studying the woman. "Like what?" That question caught the woman off guard. She blinked, opened her mouth, then closed it again. She wasn't expecting to be asked to explain herself, at least not in this way. Karoline waited, calm, patient. She wasn't attacking. She wasn't dismissing. She was simply waiting for a real conversation to happen. The woman's fingers curled around the edge of the table. "You defend policies that—" she started, but then she paused. A flicker of doubt crossed her face. Because deep down, she knew, she hadn't come here for a debate. She had come here for a scene. For a viral moment of outrage. But now, in front of the cameras, in front of dozens of people watching, she couldn't just scream talking points. She had to actually explain herself. Karoline leaned forward slightly. "I get it," she said. "You're angry. You think I'm wrong. But tell me, what do you actually want me to say? Do you want me to change my mind? Or do you just want to win an argument?" The woman's breath hitched. Silence. Deep down, she knew the answer. And so did everyone watching. Her hands clenched into fists on the table. Her mind was racing, searching for something, anything, to regain control of the situation. She had walked into this confrontation thinking she was in charge, that she was exposing Karoline, that she would leave victorious. But now she was the one on the defensive. The cameras were rolling. People were whispering. She could feel their eyes on her, waiting. Not for another outburst, but for something real. Karoline spoke first. "I know what it's like to be angry," she said, her voice softer now. "I know what it's like to believe that someone in power is hurting the country. I've been there." The woman blinked, startled. This wasn't the reaction she expected. "But let me ask you something," Karoline continued. "Did you ever think that maybe we want the same thing, but just see different ways to get there?" The woman frowned, her guard still up. "What are you talking about?" Karoline gestured around the cafe. "Everyone here wants a better future. Everyone here cares about their country, their families, their kids, their freedoms. You and I, we're no different in that.